Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. As you ladies reflect back on what the season has been from November to now, is there a moment or a game that stands out above others?
For me, I think it's beating Stanford for the co-championship, and I think it was just a moment where we proved to ourselves that we could really just do what we put our mind to, because that was one of our biggest goals starting the season out, and we accomplished that. So that was a great moment, I think, in our season.
Yeah, I agree with her. I feel like each game, especially in the Pac-12, like you're just focused on Friday and focused on Sunday. You don't think too much about like what the greater thing is that you're going for. And I think when we won that game and just like looking around and all the celebration and stuff, it's like, wow, we really did something big here, and that was fun. And then just seeing all the fans there, I think it was a cool moment of being like, okay, Salt Lake City really can get behind us, and just making me excited for having March Madness here as well.
Next question.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. Jenna, last year you got to experience the NCAA tournament and being able to go to the second round, but this year you're hosting it and being able to get all the festivities that way. How different is it this year, and maybe what's the confidence level as maybe opposed to last year?
I mean, last year everyone was new to the NCAA tournament, so I think it was just everyone was experiencing it for the first time. Also, just losing in the second round last year, we're definitely a lot hungrier this year. And then obviously hosting in Salt Lake, it's fun just kind of be in your own environment, to be around your own fans. I think it just gives us an elevated level of confidence, both knowing what it's like to play in this tournament and also getting to be at home.
Next question.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. This question's for both Alyssa and Jenna. When you look at this year's team, what's kind of been the defining characteristic that's propelled the unparalleled success that you've had this season?
I think just the amount of focus and toughness this team has, just to stay together throughout the whole season, because it's a long season, and by the end of it, teams get wear down and tired. So I think just how well we've done, even during the end of the season or towards the end of the season, it's just shown how locked in and focused we are on continuing to chase our goals and things we set out from the beginning of the season.
I'd say we're just very steady and consistent. We've never had a losing streak. I think that just because each day, even if we've lost a game, we come back really focused. We don't get too high or too low, and yeah, we just play in the moment.
Next question.
Jeff Gall, Deseret News. For both players, it's been a couple weeks since you've played a game. What kind of impact has this layoff had on you guys, and how have you kind of handled it?
I think it's been good. Just, we went into the Pac-12 tournament a little bit banged up, so having a couple weeks off just to recover and be at full health has been really nice. We got to play our practice team last week, so it was just nice to get up and down, kind of get our lungs back where they need to be. Playing at 5,000 feet, obviously, it's hard sometimes when you have extended amount of time off, but I feel like just refocusing on us, getting healthy, and continuing to stay sharp has been good for us.
Yeah, I would agree, and just say that, ending the tournament how we didn't want to, I think that kind of motivated us more to just put in that work and practice and just stay focused and locked in for the tournament.
Next question.
Melissa, you just touched on it, but obviously you guys, you came from winning the co-championship to then going to the tournament expecting to go far. What does a loss in that first round or second round of that tournament allow you to be able to do going into this tournament, knowing that any night could change?
Just not to take anything for granted, and just knowing we have to be sharp every single game, and just take care of business when it comes down to it. We've been talking a lot about it in practice, but just every possession is important, and we've been stressing that in practice. And these games are it's one and done. So once we lose, we're out, and this is the final go round. So I think we're all taking it pretty seriously, and we're just, like I said, locked in and ready to go.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Josh?
Yeah, for either one of you. You obviously get Gardner-Webb first. You probably haven't seen much of them, but then you also have two other opponents that you have to kind of scout. How difficult is that from your guys' standpoint? I know the coaches will do their own thing, but from your standpoint, trying to go into those games, not really knowing either really of any of those opponents.
I mean, we learned the scout a few days before, and that's kind of been similar to what we've done all year. So I think, we stay focused on who we have to beat on Friday, just like we have every single Pac-12 tournament or Pac-12 weekend. So, yeah, I think the coaches definitely have more responsibility with that, just kind of looking ahead. And we just have to show up and be in the moment to know who we're playing Friday night.
Next question.
Now that you guys are in this situation and here, how much of a competitive advantage does it feel to, be home in Salt Lake City and it's your gym and your locker room? How much of an advantage, does that feel like?
I think it's huge for us, especially with the fan base that's been built over here. And, just the energy we feel from the crowd and everybody who supports, it's boosted our, I think our performances and just our energy on the court as well. So, it feels good to be at home, play at our own court. And I think we play well here, so it's definitely an advantage.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you guys.
You can. Let's scoot over so we don't feel so far apart.
You ready?
Born ready, Jim.
Okay. All right, next up we have head coach Lynn Roberts. Coach Roberts, if you would like to start with an opening statement.
Sure. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. This is exciting. I also want to, say that we're sad about the passing of Dirk. He was such a great guy, and was such a faithful supporter of our program and just a fun reporter that I got to know pretty well through this process. So condolences to his family, and we will miss him for sure. We're excited to be at home, and this is just such a great opportunity, and we're grateful that we are here. And as I've shared many times, losing at Texas, they were the 2 seed last year in the second round. To them, we've all had our sights on this in terms of the opportunity to host. And because, as you ask the players, the advantage that it is, that doesn't mean it's a given that you win or it's easy to win ever in this tournament. But certainly we are appreciative of the opportunity to host, and we hope we have some great crowds, and we're playing a really good team on Friday. Gardner-Webb's good, and they've won 21 games in a row. That's really hard to do. I don't care what league you're in. That is really hard to do. And they're very well coached. They play super hard. So it's not going to be easy. Those are dangerous teams when they come in with that kind of confidence, upperclassmen, kind of nothing to lose in the regard of they're not favored to win. Those are dangerous teams. So they have our attention for sure. They have our team's attention, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
All right, first question here.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. Coach, when you look at this year's team compared to some of your teams in the recent past, one thing that stands out is you guys were able to pull out close, tight games in league play this year. What about this team contributed to them being able to have success in crunch time and in those tight situations?
Well, I think there's two things. One, experience. There's no better teacher. Last year we started 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, so they, sometimes you have to learn by losing. Those freshmen and sophomores had, those moments where you lose the game at the end. You know what it takes the next time around. So they're 1 year older, wiser, better. And then, the second part is talent. I think those guys coming back, our core group, they're very talented. And then you add Alyssa Peely, who obviously is very talented. So they make me look good down the stretch, that's for sure.
Next question right here in front.
I'm sorry. Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. Izzy missed the Pac-12 tournament, but you've alluded to the fact here a couple of times that you expect her to go and to be at full strength. Is that still the case? You expect to be at full strength?
Yeah, we do. barring any sort of setback with her, we've been, the rest time has been critical to get her back. And, as of today, right now, whatever time it is, we anticipate her to go. So we'll see, how the next 24 hours goes. But, we anticipate her back.
Josh Furlong, KSL.com. Lynn, when you look at last year and you talk about, obviously getting to that second round and losing to Texas, what lessons have you learned from that maybe give you an advantage this year now that you've been through that experience?
The losing that game, I think, I think just that every possession matters, and I think we showed that, and our players just alluded to that. That everything matters. And we got beat at Texas. I mean, it was close for a while. I don't remember the final score, but they controlled it from start to tip, or from tip to finish. And so, we didn't want that feeling again. And I think we've earned the seed that we got. As a 2 seed, I think we've earned it. We've won a lot of close games against some really good teams. We don't have a single bad loss on our schedule. And so we've earned it. And I think there's no better way to gain confidence than feeling like you earn something, you work for it, you commit to it, you dedicate to it. So I think there's just some confidence. That game specifically, we didn't learn anything specifically other than we don't want to be in that situation again. And this tournament, if we're fortunate enough to move on, every game, no matter who we're playing, and I think Friday is the same thing. It's going to be hard. They're going to be hard, but you got to have your fists up, ready to fight, and you can't just walk in and because you'll get your tail beat.
Any other questions?
Jeff Gall, Desert News. Coach, you kind of alluded to this earlier, but what challenges specifically does Gardner-Webb pose for your team on Friday?
Yeah, like I said, they're very good. They've got some really good players. Their leading scorer, Williams, is a handful. She's kind of a matchup nightmare. She can play the 3 or the 4. She's averaging 27 points in their last 5 games. She can attack. She can shoot. She can put pressure on you. They've got one of the best shooters I've seen in Bevis, little guard they have that can really get going. They're just a complete team. They've got a great point guard. They got a great shooter. They've got post play, and then they're very athletic and aggressive. So, that's why they've won 21 in a row. They have every spot. So, they like to get up and pressure defensively. So we've got to take care of the basketball. They rebound really hard offensively. We've got to do a good job keeping them off the glass. A lot of their, points come from second chance points, but they're just aggressive and seemingly very fearless.
Next questions, Alex?
So I was doing some research, and it seems that, or not seems that, but Alyssa has a history of playing football, of wrestling when she was younger. And I'm wondering if, as you were recruiting her to come to Utah, how much did you know about that kind of side of her athleticism, and how much did you kind of see that, especially when she came in and it was day to day? And do you still feel like maybe she has a little bit of football player or wrestler in her?
I knew about her history when, I knew about her in high school, and I always joke that I tried to call her in high school, but she didn't return my call. But when she went in the portal, tried again, and thankfully she answered, and we went from there. So I've always known she was just such a unique athlete. I think she also won the shot put by 6 feet, which is silly. But, she is so unique, and it's been fun. And, the credit goes to her. She came in feeling like she didn't do what she needed to do at USC, take care of, she had so much potential, and she didn't protect it and work towards it. And so I think this was a clean slate for her in terms of, okay, now I'm going to change how I'm doing things and get after it. But yeah, you see some of that football, wrestling. We practice every day against our practice team, which is a group of college men that played high-level high school. Some even played, NAIA basketball in college, and they transferred here. And these are big guys. and you can kind of see when she posts them up or boxes them out, kind of the look on their, just like, holy crap, because she's so powerful. And yeah, she would have made a heck of a football player, but she's also she's powerful like that, but she's incredibly graceful and explosive. So it's just a matchup nightmare for opposing teams and then she can shoot the three. So as she continues to develop, and this off season with her, working on those guard perimeter skills even more, she still has room to get better, which is scary.
And Josh, right here.
Last year, you obviously had Gianna that was a major part of your offense, and just being able to be that overall player. How do you feel like her game has changed? Maybe especially since Alyssa's there to kind of maybe take some of that load off of her, and also the rest of the team knowing that you've become a proficient in scoring.
Yeah, I think and Alyssa has deserved all the credit and the publicity she's gotten. She's earned it, and the team loves it. And there's no ego on our team, which I think one of you asked what makes this team special. I think the fact that there's an absence of ego. They really don't care who gets the ink, who gets the points. And when you have a team that legitimately wants everyone else, other people to succeed and be great, then you have a chance to have something special. And I think that's what it is. And Gianna is a great example of that. Her numbers, her efficiency, everything is up from last year. So she's not getting as much attention about that, but she needs a couple more free throws in this tournament, and she'll finish the season 50, 40, 90. 50% from 2, 40% from 3, 90 from... That's insane. And she's just a sophomore. And she's the kid that, this is the honest to goodness truth, we have to tell her when she cannot be in the gym. She just asked me right now, can I go shoot in our... It's like, no. You need to, we have a, and that's why that's who she is. And, yesterday we announced to the team that Alyssa was AP and Writers Association All-American, and G was the most hyped up about it. And I think that's what makes this team kind of special. But it's, she was Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. She's first team All-League this year. She's up for the Cheryl Miller Award. She's the finalist for, the forward position, that wing position. She's one of 5, and she's just a sophomore, and doesn't think she's arrived either. She has this humility combination with work ethic that's really elite.
Next question.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. You look at just like the roster 1 through 5, kind of the depth and versatility you have at each position. What does that do for this team in terms of just like a tournament setting where you have to adjust to so many opponents on the fly within a short time span?
I think it's everything. I think, to answer your question earlier, why have we been able to win some close games? It's because of depth. I've had teams here where we have been really talented, but we didn't have the depth. So if one of your key players doesn't have a great game, you're not going to beat a great team. And we've beaten great teams this year, and not everybody has to play, we don't have to catch lightning in a bottle for us to beat those guys. So I think the depth is huge, and especially playing just like Pac-12. The schedule has been very, it's exactly mirrored with playing Friday and then Sunday. Those Sunday games, not having depth can really hurt you. So in this tournament format, same thing.
Next question, I'll go to Alex, and then one more in the back.
Just one more thing on Alyssa. She told me the other day that something, a big kind of change for her this year, for her has been becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I'm just curious from your perspective, how has that manifested itself?
That's a great statement by her. I love it. I think she recognized, like I said, that she was not living up to her potential. And it's like all of us that join a gym on January 1st because we want to get in shape. And then by February, we're like, oh, yeah, right? So she got here in June saying, I need to get in shape, and I need to change how I am away from off the court. And it's one thing to say that, and it's one thing to want it. It's another thing to do it. And, every day do it. make those choices, the commitment, the dedication. That's why I am so incredibly proud of her, because that's hard. And, and when you feel like you've got a long ways to go, to just, what's that saying? Step by step, man goes far, right? Like it was just a daily choice to get up early, meet with our strength and conditioning coach early. She was doing that 3-4 times a week until Pac-12 started. That's hard. But I think as any of us, if you start seeing results and you start having success, when that alarm goes off, it gets a little easier. But those daily choices of how you're eating, how you're training, how you're recovering, how you're living off the court have been the difference for her. And her just discipline, I guess is the word, has been incredibly, I'm just so proud of her.
Final question to Morgan in the back.
Coach, considering the postseason history here and how rich it is, Bird Magic 79. I don't know how old you were. You were probably in diapers. I don't know, but
I don't want to answer
yeah,
that.
a long time ago. You being the latest piece of that, I guess the Stanford game kind of gave you a taste of what it could feel like, right?
Yeah, that was awesome, and that's why I took this job. That's why I wanted this job, is because of the tradition and the history. And Salt Lake City's a basketball town, and I knew we could do it. And it being have a championship level team and have a packed house, and it's hard, and we've got to do our job as a program to put a product on the floor that people want to come see, and so it starts with us. And now I think we have that, and we're gonna work our tails off to continue to have that. But we have a pretty good retention rate. When people come to our games, they come back. But it's humbling for me to be a part of the tradition here. It really is. And, there's a little imposter syndrome in that regard of just the greats that have been here. And, as you mentioned, that great game in 79 when I was 4. And, Majerus and Elaine Elliott. I mean, there's been some incredible basketball played on the Huntsman Center, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
All right. Thank you, Coach Roberts.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you again. See you tomorrow.